guys, this is Idol, doing another BJD Addicts prompt. It's been a long time since my last one, and once again I'm still kind of, new to this whole, YouTube videos, thing, and I'm not quite as active in the BJD community. In any event, I am going out of order. I was scanning through the prompts today and pried myself away from Skyrim long enough to do this video prompt. This is BJD Addicts prompt number 14, faces. What do you prefer? Molds you like, so on and so forth. I'm going to break this down into, I guess, two parts, technically. First, I'm going to talk about stylistic versus realistic and versus fantasy dolls. What I like, what I don't like, and which one is my favorite, which it'll be pretty easy to guess if you know what sculpts I have based on my last video. Then I will talk about specific companies and molds, more so probably companies because I'm really not as well versed in that many molds. So, that being said, here is part one, stylistic versus realistic versus fantasy. As far as me personally, I do prefer a more stylistic kind of doll. What I'm talking about is stuff like Loot, Stream of Doll. Oh my goodness, I just lost track of myself. Loot, Stream of Doll, Asleep Eidolon, companies like that. I think Doll Zone can fall into that category as well. Companies like that, especially the Loots and Dream of Doll style. That is closer to anime and manga, I guess you could say. It's also more of a delicate, androgynous sort of beauty, and that appeals to me the most. Just because that's where my tastes lie in life and art and so on and so forth. But at the same time, if you want to get a little more realistic, I do love Eiffel House. As you can tell, this is my Eiffel Storm sitting on my lap with my DOC home Krill or Krill. I think I called him Krill for the longest time before I realized there was another I in there. In any event, Eiffel House is about as realistic as I go as far as my piece. I mean, his face, while it is manly and it is slightly more, toned towards a human being, there's still a little bit of that, stylized artwork in there. And if you want to call it anime and manga or manhwa, in this case, since he is from a Korean company, then by all means do it. But, the thing I like about Eiffel, though, is while their heads still have that slight stylistic, this can't be real, it's a little bit of the feminine and with the masculine, their bodies are hyper realistic as far as, there are veins in his hands and his arms and even on his little doll peens. So, I like that about Eiffel. They pay particular attention to detail, but we will go into that more towards the second part of this. As far as the stylized version, like I said, this is my DOC Krill. I own a Honey Delph Kai and a Angel of Dream Chi, who aren't in this video because my lap is only so big and this guy takes up most of it. They're also stylized. They have the bigger eyes. They look like they could have stepped out of some show. Even my parents were like, "Oh, is that anime?" Or people like anime dolls? What? But see, I don't mind that. It appeals to me. They are artwork in their own ways, and I like that unobtainable ideal of beauty thing that they've got going on there. They look delicate. Excuse me. They've got that porcelain type quality to them, if that makes any sense. It does in my head. Trust me. They're pretty. They're delicate. They've got the androgyny thing going. As far as fantasy dolls go, I'm not real big on those. My Angel of Dream Tree actually is vampire. A lot of Chinese companies are doing this. I don't know why. That normally doesn't appeal to me. In fact, I didn't even like my Chi until I started doing work on him, and now I'm in love with him. So maybe if I were to order something and put a lot of work into it, I could come to like it. But as it stands, I'm not real big on fantasy dolls. I mean, we have, like I said, she's a vampire. That's pretty, mild on the fantasy, but then you've got stuff like Doll Zone had that flower doll. I cannot remember what the hell it's called now. I tried to find it on their site, but I think it might have been discontinued. It just doesn't appeal to me. That and, like, I see a ton of hooves and horns in the galleries on Den of Angels, and I don't get it. I think a lot of those are Zoom too, and I have a whole thing on Zoom later. Maybe if I was trying to shell a character that actually was that way, it would be fine. Or if like a project doll I want to do, if that fell into something like that, then yeah, sure, by all means. But you know, just to buy a doll, I don't understand. And I don't really enjoy the style that the companies do for said horns and hooves. It just doesn't appeal to me. It's just not in my taste for some reason. I don't understand it, because most of the community seems to love the damn things, but that's everybody's opinion. So, like I said, I do prefer a more stylized type doll, but don't get too crazy with it, I guess.